Congratulations on the purchase of your brand new fish seeker. You're only a few steps away from catching plenty of fish. This instructional video will teach you how to safely operate and maintain your fish seeker and ensure you comply with your local maritime regulations. Safety first. Your fish seeker is an advanced fishing system. Please observe the following instructions to ensure you enjoy your fish seeker safely while also ensuring the safety of others. Keep your distance from other fishers. Look out for other Kontiki users on the beach before launching your fish seeker. If there are other users, find out where their units are and set your fish seeker unit accordingly. Always keep a good distance between yourself and other beach users and fishers, and note the direction of the current. The fish seeker is designed to be used off sandy beaches with a seabed free of foul ground, obstructions and obstacles. These features could hinder retrieval of your fish seeker. Be considerate to other beach occupants at all times when using your fish seeker. Observe the following guidelines to ensure the safety of others. Take extra care during launch time. Warn other beach users of any dangers and make them aware of where your fish seeker line is. Keep animals and young children away from the fish seeker. Never leave hooks unattended. Keep clear of swimmers. If anyone is helping you use the fish seeker, warn them of the dangers and ensure they are instructed or trained in using the fish seeker product. Always retrieve your unit if it presents a danger to other beach users. Handle hooks with care. Always disconnect the battery during transport or when not in use. Always know where your fish seeker is. Use binoculars if necessary. Do not use your fish seeker at night or in poor light. Legal requirements. Always find out which specific local regulations, including size and bagging limits, apply when you plan your fishing expedition. Longline fishing is restricted or even prohibited in some locations. Do not break these regulations, as penalties will apply, including the loss of your fish seeker equipment. Identify your equipment and ensure your name and phone number is noted on your fish seeker unit in the space provided at the back of the hull with permanent marker. It's a fisheries requirement that the fisher is identified with their name, initials and surname on the float, the fish seeker unit, which is attached to your longline. Unboxing. Your fish seeker comes fully assembled with the battery installed. You will find the fish seeker foam trace rack, including the trace with quick link and swivel. The tow point pulley to connect your fish seeker to your main line. The Magna ring to control your fish seeker. A tube of maintenance grease. To use your fish seeker, you will also need a fishing line. This can be on a fishing rod or even a hand reel. We recommend using 100-pound braid of 500 meters or more. Your fish seeker's range is approximately 1,000 meters in calm conditions. You'll also need some bait, a knife, and a chopping board. Operation. Now you'll need to prepare your line. To do so, remove the swivel from the end of the fish seeker trace by squeezing the quick link and sliding it out. Feed the fishing line from your fishing rod through the tow point pulley and attach the swivel to the line. The easiest way to do this is with a uni knot. The uni knot may be the most versatile fishing knot there is. It can be used to connect your main line to the swivel, as well as to connect new hooks to your traces. Insert the line into the eye of the swivel or hook and make it parallel to the running line. Then bring the tag end over the two lines to form a loop, like this. Lift up the loop and start wrapping the tag end around the two lines 7 times. Now pull on the tag end to draw the knot closed. It's always a good idea to lubricate the knot before pulling it tight. Once the knot is tight, pull on the running line to close the loop. You can then snip the tag end off fairly close. The next thing you need to do is charge the battery. The battery is already installed in your fish seeker when you take it out of the box. To access the battery, open the unit by unscrewing the tie rod at the tail end. The battery is held in place by a small lip at the bottom of the unit. To remove it, pull the battery slightly up while pulling it out. Plug the charger into the power point. The LED light will shine green. Connect the battery to the charger. While charging, the light will shine red. When the battery is fully charged, the light will turn green again. This usually takes between 2 and 4 hours. You can now put the battery back into your fish seeker. Insert the battery into the front section of the hull by pushing the battery into the open cavity until secured in past the lip to stop movement when the fish seeker is in use. Please note that connecting the battery will turn the fish seeker on, so do not connect the battery if you're not using your fish seeker. You'll notice that there are 2 connections between the front and the back of the hull. One connects the compass in the nose cone and the other one connects the battery. There should be no reason to ever disconnect the compass, besides annual maintenance. However, always make sure that the compass is connected before connecting the battery. Never unplug the compass while the battery is connected. Tuck the excess wiring into the unit. Best practice is to tuck the compass wiring up into the side of the rear section and the battery wiring into the front section above the battery. Bring the openings of the front section and rear section together, ensuring the flat sections at the bottom of both hull sections meet. It is critically important that the seal is clean and free from sand. Do not open or close the fish seeker on sand. Always open and close the fish seeker on a sand-free surface, like a towel or a chili bin. Ensure the front and rear sections are sealed together and watertight by screwing the tie rod at the rear of the rear section. Do not over-tighten. Tighten only until the faces shown touch. Continue tightening until the gap closes in at least one place. It's normal for a small gap to remain in some sections of the sealing faces. As long as the gap closes in some areas, the seal will function properly. If the tie rod is not already vertical, tighten until it becomes vertical. Once this is properly fastened in the front section, there should be no movement between the 2 pieces. You are now ready to catch fish. Your fish seeker can be controlled in 2 ways. You can either use our free app available for Android and iOS or use the included Magna Ring. Both offer the same controls. The app has the additional feature that it displays the battery level. To download and install the app, search for Fish Seeker in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. The Fish Seeker has 2 magnetic sensors that can be triggered with the Magna Ring. A square and a circle indicate where the magnetic sensors are on the back of the hull. When the Magna Ring is touched onto a symbol, the sensor is triggered. There are 3 ways to interact with the sensors. Tap. Momentarily touch the mag ring to the symbol, then remove. Hold. Hold the magnet over a symbol until the motors spin. Swipe. Swipe across the hull, passing from one symbol to the other. Every time you give a command to the fish seeker using the Magna Ring, the motor will rev once to acknowledge the command. This will not happen when using the app. Before you use your fish seeker for the first time, you'll have to calibrate the compass. To calibrate the compass, use the Magna Ring to swipe from circle to square or select Calibrate from the app. The fish seeker's motor will rev once to acknowledge it has received a command, then will rev another 3 times to indicate you can now commence calibration. Rotate the unit once on all 3 axes and then put it into a stable position. After a few seconds, the motors will rev 3 times again to confirm that the calibration was successful. Should the calibration for some reason fail, the motors will rev 4 times. In this case, try again and refer to the troubleshooting table in your user manual for further help. You can now load the dropper rig. Open the hatch by tapping the square or selecting Open Hatch in your app. Under the hatch, you will find the unit's bait pod. There are 3 different types of compartments. one large sinker compartment on the left, 5 small line compartments along the top, and 5 medium-sized bait compartments along the bottom. If it is safe to do so, the entire trace can be unwound from the trace rack, laid along the ground, then baited and loaded into the bait pod. Alternatively, the trace can be wound off the trace rack and loaded into the bait pod in sections. Remove the hooks from the trace rack and bait them. Lie the unit on its side with the bait pod facing up towards you. Starting from the sinker end, unwind the trace from the trace rack past the first hook and place the sinker in the sinker compartment. Put the pointy end in first to ensure that the sinker can be easily deployed. Start wrapping the line around 2 fingers. Make sure you leave a gap between your fingers so that it's easy to take the line off. Once you reach the first hook line, begin wrapping both the main line and the hook line around your fingers together. Continue wrapping until you reach the first hook. Place the coil of line into the upper compartment and the baited hook into the lower compartment. Make sure that the hook is facing up so that it cannot get stuck in the bait pod. Repeat this process for the next 3 baited hooks. On the 5th and final hook, continue wrapping the main line until about 5 centimeters from the end. Place the coil and the baited hook in their compartments as before. Now the bait pod is ready. Place the trace loop in the pin slot on the hull. Then tap the square or select the close hatch option in the app. Secure the tow point pulley to the main body by clipping it to the carabiner at the end of the tie rod. This ensures when the line is released that the fish seeker is still attached to your fishing line. Make sure you tighten the carabiner lock nut. This is a very important step. If you forget to attach the pulley, you will lose your fish seeker. Now attach your main line. You now need to set the direction you want your fish seeker to follow and the timer. To do so, hold the unit level or put it on the ground and point it in the desired direction. Set the direction by holding the magna ring onto the square or use the app. The fish seeker will acknowledge that it has set the heading by revving its motors twice. The run time determines how long the fish seeker will travel out to sea before turning off its motors and dropping the sinker and bait. It can be set from 1 to 12 minutes. A good guide is 4 minutes in calm conditions to set the unit approximately 400 meters from shore. The rougher the conditions, the longer it'll take the unit to travel. In very large surf, it may take the full 12 minutes to reach 600 meters. Take into consideration how much line you have on your reel when sending the unit out. Ensure the fish seeker does not reach the end of the line, as this can lead to tangles or even pulling your fishing rod out to sea if it isn't well secured. Reduce the run time as necessary. To set the timer, swipe the magna ring from square to circle. The motors will rev once to confirm that the timer has now been set. It will then rev repeatedly to let you set the time. Every rev equals 1 minute. Once the machine has reached the desired amount of time, tap either the square or circle switch to enter this value. The motors will then briefly rev again, confirming the timer setting. The calibration, heading and timer settings will remain stored in memory, even after the battery is removed. So if you're happy with your current calibration, heading and timer settings, you can simply load up the bait pod and start the next run. Before you launch the fish seeker, go through the following checklist to ensure everything is ready. 1. The hatch is closed securely and the hatch pin passes through the trace loop. 2. The tow point pulley is attached to the carabiner and the carabiner is tightened shut. 3. The reel attached to the fish seeker is set to let line out. 4. The rod is secure. You can now launch your fish seeker. Simply place it into the ocean deep enough so that it floats and start the motors. You can do this either by holding the magna ring onto the circle or by using the app. The unit then will travel out to sea in the direction that you have set earlier for the selected run time. Once the unit has completed its run, it will stop and open its hatch to release the sinker and hooks. To ensure all the hooks and line are dropped from the bait pod, the unit will run again for a further 30 seconds. We recommend you allow the fish seeker to then remain in the water for 20 to 30 minutes, after which the unit is ready to be brought back into shore. Reel the unit back in using your fishing rod as you usually would bring your line in. Reel the line back in at a steady pace. Do not go too slowly or you will run the risk of dragging the sinker along the seabed and snagging the line. Ensure the fish seeker is not dragged along the bottom when it reaches shallow water. Only reel in the line when the fish seeker is floating. Once your unit is back on shore, take all fish off the hooks and enjoy your catch. To ensure that any sand, salt or other foreign matter is removed, wash your fish seeker, trace holder and anything else that has come in contact with the fish using fresh water after every use. Be careful not to fill the inside of the hull with water while cleaning. Instead, wipe down all internal surfaces and the battery with a damp cloth if salt water and/or sand has entered the area. Once cleaned, leave the hull parts and battery separate until dry. Check your fishing line periodically, looking for any spots of weakness due to damage or wear. Replace any sections that are damaged. We recommend that you replace the entire main line every 2 years. Check the main seal of your fish seeker, making sure it is clean and free of sand. The seal can be carefully removed for cleaning and inspecting for damage. Check periodically for signs of wear and replace if found. Applying waterproof marine grease will ensure that electrical components are safe and secure from water damage. These parts include battery and compass connectors and the jet unit. We recommend that you re-grease the jet unit at least once a year. It's important to only use the grease provided. Other greases can lead to damage of the seals and plastic.